Political battle is underway today in the United States as voters are casting their ballots in two very important primaries. And for the frontrunners, it is personal because of their ties to New York. Donald Trump as a Big Apple businessman and Hillary Clinton as a New York senator.
Who are you voting for?
Easy decision.
Trump's expected to win the majority of the 95 Republican delegates up for grabs. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton also expected to win. Her husband joined her today as she voted in their adopted hometown. Clinton is enjoying a wide lead over her rival Bernie Sanders, especially in the New York City area. Solon Simmons is Vice President for Global Strategy at George Mason University. He joins us now from Fairfax, Virginia. Solon, good to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Are you expecting any knockout punches tonight?
I think not. It's a really important primary. New York is a big state. It's important for both the front runners, Trump and Clinton. At the same time, unless there's something very surprising, and really the only big surprise I think could come on the Democratic side, I think we're going to be in much the same pattern. There's this division between the math and the narrative that you've heard a lot in the coverage of this primary, and the narrative speaks to the momentum piece and the idea of who can tell a story about where they're headed and how they're pushing. The only thing I'd watch for is to see if Sanders could get within single digits, because this is where Clinton was a senator, and Clinton and she has such a natural advantage into the constituency because independents can't vote in this race. There can't be a swing, that last minute surge, and Bernie's so popular with independents. So if he can keep within single digits, although the math doesn't change, he has this story of momentum. Very good for him. I think on the other side, the question is, does Trump run the table, or does he leave something there for the other side? And although the race is between Trump and Cruz in terms of the delegates, I think Kasich has been a sleeper throughout this entire campaign. And even in the beginning, before the whole thing started, I thought he was very strong. And if the Republicans were smart, they might get behind him, because he's a very dyed-in-the-wool conservative. At the same time, he knows how to govern, and he can demonstrate that. So Kasich, if he can hold in there, if he can damage Trump a little bit, peel off a couple delegates, he puts himself in a pretty good position to head into the convention as the sort of moderate alternative.
You mentioned the complicated math, especially on the Republican side. So that means Donald Trump doesn't want 50%. He wants 70% here.
Yeah, he'd like to get all 95 delegates, frankly, and he'd like to have those high percentage numbers, too. Yeah, I mean, so the key thing is, how do you break it out and you win in each of the particular areas, in each of the particular races? So the idea is we have to look at geography. Does he do really well in around New York City, where he's extremely well known? How does he play out in the New York Rust Belt around Buffalo, headed east? So in those congressional districts, we got to see him do very well if he's going to pull forward. And the key for Trump to keep in mind is he's trying to get enough to get over the majority number of delegates so that he can win on what we call the first ballot. That is, he needs to win before he goes to the convention, or otherwise the Never Trump movement looks like it might be able to stop him and rally the other delegates against him, because he's so unpredictable, and they prefer to go with Cruz, in a sense, who they don't particularly like but know what he might do. And so it doesn't go down ticket and take out the Republican Senate with him.
Solon Simmons, Vice President for Global Strategy at George Mason University. Thank you very much.
Thank you.